showed that they were able to mobilize the agencies, resources, and the people needed to deal with the virus. There was also the impact of the first budget introduced on 18 February, with an eye-popping $6.4 billion plan to help workers and employers ride out the crisis, announced by Heng Swee-keat, Deputy Prime Minister, Finance Minister, and leader of the 4G members of government. The largesse was way beyond the expectations of any economist. Unprecedented measures to cushion workers and families were announced, with the government paying for a part of workers' salaries and putting cash directly into the hands of those who had lost their jobs. If an election had been called then, I doubt that Singapore's motley opposition crew would have had much of a chance going up against such a strong performance by the ruling People's Action Party, or PAP. The PAP government showed its technocratic and organizational competence in mobilization, and a generosity of heart for people distressed at how their jobs seemed to be vanishing because tourists stayed away and people were told to keep a safe distance from each other. It would be churlish not to vote for the PAP. Nevertheless, the threat of the virus spreading hadn't abated, and by the time Parliament sat on 25th March to discuss the timing of an election, the outbreak had gotten worse, reaching into hundreds per day in crowded migrant worker dormitories in the following month. The government had its hands full securing the safety of thousands of migrant workers and setting up health and safety processes to reduce their mingling in the community. But work on the elections carried on, with the Elections Department instructed to put up guidelines for the conduct of a safe election under a new bill introduced in April which authorized temporary arrangements. The Elections Department recommended that voters under stay-home notices, or SHN, be allowed to vote outside of their electoral divisions in special polling stations. It also suggested that an aspiring candidate under quarantine order, SHN, or medical leave would not have to be present in person during nomination proceedings. A representative will be allowed to file the nomination papers on his or her behalf. The bill also waived the penalty for voters on quarantine orders, SHN, and medical leave due to acute respiratory illnesses. If they choose not to vote in the election, their names would be restored on the registers of electors without a fine. During the debate on the bill on 4th May, members of Parliament, or MPs, noted that while temporary arrangements were made for those on SHN to